Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play for Crash Bandicoot n.sane Trilogy. Last time we completed our first two levels and grabbed 2 crystals and a few gems. But for the first tier we still have 3 more levels left to do. So the first one I'm going to go into is Snow Go. Now, this is a level that has 2 gems in it. We see one of them is a bright red colour. However, discover and finish a secret route for a special gem. We can't get that secret. We can't get into that secret entrance until the second tier. And we have to find a secret exit in one of those levels in order to gain access to the hidden route in this level. So we can't get the red gem yet. There was a special, not special, but there was like a little jump, a well-timed jump and bouncing off an enemy you could do, I believe, in the original Crash 2 so they could get you the gem early, but I never did that. And they've made the gem, they've placed the gem higher up to prevent you from doing that. They've done a few things like that. And unfortunately one thing Crash 2 has is ice physics, and these are among some of the worst ice physics I've ever experienced, and I thought Ratchet and Clank was bad. Now, one thing about the n.sane Trilogy though, it does improve the ice physics, but they're still pretty bad. I mean, the original Crash 2's ice physics were horrendous. Can I just grab these crystals? They are better here, but that doesn't mean much. They're still pretty bad all the same, and that's what makes Cold Hard Crash's bonus room so annoying. Not bonus room, death room so annoying. Right now, I don't know if you guys know the name here. This guy, we'll later get a penguin called Penta Penguin. I think he was introduced as a separate character in Crash Team Racing, I think. But that's essentially what this guy is. Now he will spin around like he walks for a little bit, and then he spins around when he reaches the end. It was either that or he spins after a certain amount of time. He comes back in Wrath of Cortex, but he has a different design in that game. And he does appear in the Dingo Dial boss fight in Crash 3. Ah! And you leave your print in the snow. If that was Crash to Insanity, I would have died. I wouldn't have even made it to the bottom. I would have just faded to black, and it assumes I died. And in addition, you have the box tally in the bonus room as well. Again, something that wasn't introduced until Crash 3 initially, which I'm convinced was done solely once again because of Cold Hard Crash, because it has a hidden box that you can't see that's on top of a bouncy box. But that bouncy box is above another one, is above another bouncy box, so normally you just think, oh, bounce on the bottom one, bounce to the top, up, down, which is what you're encouraged to do plenty of times. You wouldn't think to look above it. Thankfully, the n.sane Trilogy, you can actually see the box. They lowered it down so you can actually see it. But I'm convinced that's why Crash 3 added the box tally. Either that or just because they had it in the main level. I mean, oh, why don't we just have it in the bonus room as well? Oh no, I missed the one for fruit. Yeah, watch out, that is there. That, yeah, you can backtrack like this. I can't remember if it's Snowbeards or Cold Hard Crash, or both of them even. But that's the only time that anything like that ever happens. And I love doing that with the belly flop, just breaking a load of boxes at once. The belly flop does stop you in place, unfortunately. It is a little bit faster in this version, I think. It was kind of slow before. But it's not too bad. Right, now here's something that's rather easy to miss. That, you may have just saw it there. There is a switch box just up here. I think you can see it in the original as well, just about. You can see it there, but you couldn't really see it that easily on the way up. Unless you hold the jump button down here. Even then, if you only that's if you don't hold forward from the rest of it. Oh, I thought I hit the other one. Spinning enemies into other enemies does give you one for free. I think I said this in Crash 1. I think if you're able to get like a chain of 5, it does give you an extra life, but you very rarely ever get that chance. I don't think you get that chance here. Right, that's the box gem. We're not going to be getting the red gem until much later. Yeah, the lighting in some levels is really weird on Crash's eyes. You saw in like some of the temple levels in Crash 1. It applies to some of the levels here as well. Especially at the beginning of the level, it's pretty noticeable because he's right in front of the camera. Sadly, they kind of got rid of the sound effect for when you warp out of a level. Except this isn't warped. It was much louder. It sounded pretty cool, actually. But sadly, it's not here. The tiers are, the levels are completely random in whatever tier you're doing. Ooh.
3 crystals. Not bad. I see you are getting the hang of it. I need to conserve power. I will communicate with you again after you retrieve the 5th crystal.
Yeah, the appearance of the warp room doesn't really tell you what, doesn't really indicate what the level will be. It usually means that there'll be more of that particular kind of level. In some cases anyway, but not always. Like this one is a temple. Looks like it's in some kind of temple. You know, we have 2 temples here. That's like a hang 8, and we really need to get a move on the moment we enter this level, because we are under a time limit here. So let's get moving! Because, although it doesn't tell you, the time limit is actually activated the moment you begin the level. But yeah, the first warp room is like a temple. The second warp room, I think it was in an ice world. Ignore the checkpoint. And now the timer comes into play. That timer actually begins the moment you begin the level. And no, the invincibility sadly does not work when you're on this thing. The whirlpools can drag you in. Press circle. Press circle or... Oh no! I didn't want to activate that. Oh great. I gotta make sure I don't... I gotta make sure I get this on my first try now. But it means I'll have to exit the level once I get the gem. And now I have to exit the level. Which I can't do until the checkpoint, the crystal is right there. Damn it. That's why you need to avoid the checkpoints. It's not so bad here, but Plant Food, the 3rd level of this kind, also does this for a gem. And that one's much more annoying because of one particular section where I swear it's impossible to do without getting hit. Yeah, the second warp room is like an ice world, and there are like 3 ice levels. There are like 2 or 3 ice levels in it. The third one, I actually don't remember what the third one looks like. I think it's a sewer kind of thing, and there is a sewer level there, but I think it's just 1. And the 4th one is like the sort of like underground mines, which appears at the very beginning and end of 2 of the levels in it. And then the 5th one is in Cortex Vortex, I believe, where 4 out of 5 of the levels are in that sort of look. So yeah, you want to go pretty quickly, try and skip as many, but don't dawdle, that's all I can say. And try and boost as much as you can, kind of hard to do when you have these mining things in the way, try and also get caught up in the whirlpools too many times. Avoid the checkpoints. So you also got to make sure, also got to be careful that you don't break any checkpoints that the piranha plants are next to. These hippos look really ugly in this version. I mean, a real life hippo isn't exactly a looker, but they are particularly ugly here. Yeah, they give them a lot of whiskers. I think hippos have whiskers, but they don't look like that. Surprisingly, hippos are actually the least of our problems in this level, which is odd because a hippo is very dangerous. You know what, I'm actually going to leave because I want my level 2 Aku Aku. Wasting time, I know, but I want my level 2 Aku Aku. As you saw, we have a gem path in this level because we've collected the blue gem that is now available. There aren't any levels that you need to backtrack to get, as long as you get the colored gems the moment they become available. So sometimes it might require you to play the levels in a specific order. But you wouldn't actually have to as long as you do that, you don't have to backtrack to any levels that you've previously visited. You can press triangle to cancel out the dance. But that does require you to know what gem is in what level. So, you know, I mean, you can see what level has the color gem in it thanks to the cutouts on the walls. But you don't know which levels have the colored gem pads on them. I mean, or you could just, you know, you might see one has a colored gem. Oh, that might have a significance somewhere else. So I should probably just get that one first. Yeah, if you don't want to do that, then you need to know what's in what level. I don't think there's any, or is there? Is there a level where a color gem is in the same tier as its gem? Well, right here. It's literally saying that it's right here. If we didn't get the blue gem in Turtle Woods. And I think there's one in tier 3 that does that as well. So these are pretty much the stream levels from Crash 1. Only, you know, there's a lot more ruins and everything here now rather than actual life. And these bonus rooms actually look like the bonus rooms from Crash 1 as well, the taller ones. One thing I will say though is I really do like the music for the upstream levels, well, for the river levels in Crash 2. And they put a lot more emphasis on the guitar here, and it sounds great. I really do love the music. I like this music in general, but I really like this remix. Look at that waterfall. It looks so nice. I'm a sucker for water graphics. Sometimes even the basic ones. Though, when obviously as the hardware gets better, as the graphics, you start to appreciate the older ones less. Especially in some games where the water goes at like 2 frames per second. The hippo is... Why are there hippos here? Aren't we supposed to be in Australia? Last I checked, hippos live in Africa. I mean, I know we're in like a warp room and everything, but still, checkpoint is over there. But I'm pretty sure we're still supposed to be in Australia. So why are there hippos here? Or maybe we are going to Africa, I don't know, because there are gorillas in later levels. And yet there are also, well, I mean, I can't tell if they're supposed to be rats or opossums, so maybe they're rats, in which case, okay, I'll go with it. But I thought we were in Australia. Are these all animals that have been freed from zoos? But Cortex has tricked them into liking him, even though we know what his real plan is to do with them is. He roboticizes them. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm thinking of somewhere else. I don't think it's this level, I think it's a different one. Right, so where you need to make careful use of your boost. And break. And you do still have control over this rocket board, I guess. If you're over this ramp, obviously it's not full control, but it's still some of it. This thing does make a little cameo appearance at the beginning of Crash 3. Now, that's always been there, but you can't go over there. I do wonder if what happens if you go over there in Crash 1. Like, can you just stand there with no way back? Well, I guess if you found your way there, it's probably hacked the game, so you probably can get back. Is there collision detection? I mean, the plants are able to stand there, so I thought there'd be collision detection just so they can be there. They gave it a slight purpose here. Again, once you complete the game, Fake Crash will appear in every level, and that's where he'll be. He'll be dancing just in the middle of that. Apparently, he's not good enough food for the piranha plants. It has to be authentic, not an imposter. If you're ever nervous, just look at your box count there instead. Nothing is worse than being off by 1 box. Except now that we have the n.sane Trilogy, where it's possible to... where it will say, like, nearly perfect, but you died. Because that's just mean. You still broke all the boxes. And it still goes to the results of the box breaking screen rather than just going straight to the menu. I love the dance, but I can only watch it so many times. Alright, final level of tier 1. Crash Dash. Sliding can help you move faster, somewhat. Because Crash does come to a stop after sliding. So what you're better off doing is you're better off sliding and then doing the spin. So you're better off doing something like that. Right, that's your best option. Right, so we have chase levels returned from Crash 1. There's 3 of them here. 2 of them are boulders, one of them is a polar bear. Again, I thought we were in Australia, the Arctic. Does it snow in Australia? Maybe the south of Australia. I don't really look up what the weather is like in Australia. Usually I think it's very hot. But there's a lot more things to avoid this time, whereas before it was really just pit and the boulder. And I always do this just to make sure. Now we have these bomb things. They don't hurt Crash, but they will make him come to a complete stop. You have these electric gates. Later on they'll start adding enemies, so you've got to make sure you don't hit them. And they're like little lizards or something like that. So, and they will also jump every now and then as well, but it's completely random on when they do it, which is super annoying. You don't know when that's going to happen. But the worst thing about the chase levels in Crash 2 for me is the camera. They made it it's slightly closer to Crash, and later on they start adding like these little boost panel things that will get Crash further ahead of the boulder, which is fine when you want to break things, particularly in the second one where you have to use the belly flop. So it's fine there, but it also brings Crash closer to the camera. 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa! How did I do that? I didn't even think that was possible to do in the n.sane Trilogy. But yeah, as Crash hits the dash pads, the camera doesn't speed up as it, like going back or anything, like this. He gets much closer to the camera when he does that. And it makes seeing certain bottomless pits harder to see. It's harder to time them because you don't see them coming. Crash 3 brings the camera even closer to Crash, and you have these jet streams which can push Crash, which will push Crash forwards again, not as quickly as the dash pads, but they also do it for slightly longer. I'm not worried about the extra life. But they do go on slightly longer. And, you know, because the camera is already closer to Crash, he can actually outrun the camera and you won't see the lava pits coming until it's too late. And it's even worse when there are lava pits that require you to double jump over them. But you're not going to know about the double jump until you have fallen down and died in it. You know, unless you're somebody that just double jumps all over the place. But given that I don't really find the double jump in Crash 3 to be very reliable, it's not so bad here, but it's terrible in the original Crash 3 because it's so unresponsive. And that's the problem with it. And that's why I hate the chase levels in Crash 3 so much. Right, so quite often for some reason you need to move slightly forward. Or not, or we can... Oh, that's right. For some reason, there is a cutscene in the original game, but for some reason they take out the Ripper Roo cutscene with Cortex. It's not in the n.sane Trilogy. I don't know why. I think it's the only time that happens. But there should be a cutscene there. I don't have the time to go back and play Crash 2. just to get far enough up to capture footage of the initial cutscene. We'll see. Anyway, Ripper Roo. Let's say this is not as embarrassing as it was in Crash 1. He's the first boss now, and he's just as simple. I'd say this fight, it is still a waiting game, but I find this fight to be better than the one in Crash 3. That, and then you hit it. it's a set area. He always goes to the same areas every single time. Oop. As thing is, they almost get hit. We got a bunch of real sums here. And they are Suvat sums, or in that one's case, F equals ma, or force equals mass times acceleration. And there's a few others here and there. As we've been informed, he is now a doctor. This third one always makes me nervous. But it looks like he's become a bit more insane. Yeah, sometimes I do like to jump out of the way just to be safe. And there we go. That's our first boss. Nowhere near as embarrassing as it was before. Now, where's your book? I want to read your well-received book. I guess I won't be able to. But yeah, they take out the cutscene. I don't know why. Still plays the cutscene afterwards. I think you gotta go to, yeah, I think you gotta go up first. It would take you to the next tier automatically in the original, but you have to jump on the center platform. And there we go.
I see that Ripper Roo failed to prove much of a challenge yet again. But back to business. There are crystals to be gathered, 20 to be exact. The planets will align shortly, all 13 of them, and this will create a power great enough to rip the Earth apart. Properly utilized, however, the crystals can absorb and contain the energy.
Crash, is that you? I've been looking everywhere. I don't have much time to tell you this. You have to be careful. Trusting Cortex seems a little unwise, Crash. I can't keep the data path open much longer. Crash, you need to...
See, that transition just doesn't look as good. Now we can play as Coco. She still disappears and then crash. Anytime that Coco appears in like those hologram things, she will. She will disappear. Crash will come back, and then Coco will speak to Crash through the hologram. It looks so weird. It'd be really weird if Coco was still there. It's like, wow, this is a paradox. Yeah, she decided to get the battery herself this time. We never do get that battery. But anyway, so we're now in the second tier. And in the original, if you ever wanted to replay boss fights, I don't think the game really told you about it. What you had to do is stand in the middle and then hit up or down, and you had to press, and you had to hold triangle. In here, because we have an autosave, initially this is what we'd have to do. We'd have to stand up to this thing. It would initially be it would actually be a wall rather than a doorway, and then you could just save the game from that. But that's now the entrance to the warp to the boss fight, so you don't need to worry about holding triangle on that thing anymore. Anyway, next up we are going to be doing the second tier. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into this level, Air Crash, because that has the secret exit that will take us back into Snow Go, and we can get that red gem that we saw. And I hate the secret entrance to Snow Go. After that, well, I wonder what this guy's doing here. Hey there. Yeah. Alright, well, he'll come into more significance later on. So, I will see you guys then.